Had some chilly weather here for Marquette on this Tuesday as temperatures will be starting out near 40, and we're not going to get out of the 50s here on that chilly northwest wind. It's going to be pretty steady. Steady winds about 15, some gusts up to 20 to 25, so bundle up as you're heading outside. But otherwise, decent weather, partly to mostly sunny skies across the area, highs 50s to near 60. Rest of the forecast later in the show. Kevin?
All right, thanks very much, Tom, and sorry about that, folks. WZMQ 19 News has learned that a member of the Negaunee City Council has been arraigned on charges of controlled substance possession, non-narcotic, a felony, and operating a boat while under the influence. All charges stem from a boating incident in Marquette Harbor that occurred on September 13th when Negaunee City Council member Matthew Howard was arrested by the Marquette City Police. Howard's next court appearance will be on October 17th for a probable cause conference. WZMQ 19 News has reached out to Howard's attorney, and we are waiting to hear back. Howard has previously been accused of harassing other members of the Negaunee City Council, as well as the city manager. The Negaunee City Council officially censured Howard in August because of these allegations. We will continue to keep you updated as more details become available. Today marks the first day of a new Supreme Court term. The court is expected to hear a variety of arguments on issues ranging from transgender medical care, ghost guns, and more. The court could potentially weigh in on any election dispute. This comes at a time where trust in the court is at some of the lowest levels nationally. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
That does seem to focus the court's attention on the complaint at the time.
Supreme Court justices listened to their first set of oral arguments on Monday. In this term, the court is set to make decisions on some high-profile cases, like if states can prevent people younger than 18 from getting certain gender-affirming medical treatments, if states can require age verifications for porn websites, and if the government can regulate homemade so-called ghost guns the same way as other firearms. Within the past couple of years, the court has weighed in on some of the biggest decisions in recent times, like abortion rights and presidential immunity. While the cases are certainly the main focus of the court, the national spotlight has also been put on the court for ongoing ethics issues. Congressional members have even spoke out if the courts need more oversight.
The Supreme Court's authority, Madam President, ultimately rests on its reputation and public confidence. It depends on people trusting the justices to make honest, professional decisions.
It is up to the legal profession to police itself, and in the end, this means the courts, including the Supreme Court, must police their officers.
But less than a month away from the November elections, the court could weigh in into any election dispute. In 2020, the court declined to hear a handful of challenges by former President Donald Trump on alleged voter fraud and challenging the results in states President Joe Biden won. In 2000, the court made the consequential decision in the Bush v. Gore case. It was one of the most significant election-related cases the court has decided on. In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp, WZMQ 19 News.
With the presidential election now less than a month away, the candidates are ramping up appearances. Both Vice President Harris and former President Trump held events today to commemorate the Hamas attack on Israel 1 year ago. As Natalie Brand explains, one of them accepted an invitation to be interviewed on 60 Minutes.
I'm doing well.
During a primetime election special on CBS's 60 Minutes, Bill Whitaker pressed Vice President Kamala Harris on the top issue on voters' minds, the economy, and how she plans to pay for her proposals, including expanding the child tax credit.
It is not right that teachers and nurses and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. And I plan on making that fair.
She was also asked about U.S.-Israeli relations, 1 year since the Hamas terror attacks on Israel. The widening year-long conflict in the Middle East will be inherited by the next president.
The work that we do diplomatically with the leadership of Israel is an ongoing pursuit around making clear our principles.
The race for the White House took a somber tone Monday, with each candidate marking October 7th.
Vice President Harris planted a pomegranate tree at her Washington residence to symbolize hope. Former President Donald Trump visited with members of the Orthodox Jewish community in New York, then spoke at a remembrance event at his golf club in Doral, Florida.
The October 7th attack would never have happened if I was president. The past few years have proven that weakness only begets violence and war. What is needed more than ever is a return of unwavering American leadership and unquestioned American strength.
Trump initially agreed to be interviewed by 60 Minutes, but last week his campaign told CBS News it decided not to participate. CBS says the original 60 Minutes invitation to Trump still stands.
A new analysis by the Nonpartisan Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget finds the economic plans from both candidates add to the nation's debt. A Harris presidency could bring a deficit of $3.5 trillion over 10 years, while the Trump presidency could add up to $15.2 trillion to the debt. As flu season gears up, we're getting new data on how effective this year's flu shots may be, and there's research that links vaping to some serious cardiovascular risks. WZMQ's Sarah Blakely has more of today's Top Health headlines.
Flu season has already been underway in the Southern Hemisphere, and the CDC says data shows the 2024 vaccine reduced the risk of flu-associated hospitalization by 35% in 5 South American countries. North America could see similar benefits if the same flu strains migrate here. The CDC recommends that all eligible people 6 months and older get an annual flu shot. Many think of vaping as a safer alternative to smoking, but more data shows that e-cigarettes come with health risks too. A USC study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that nicotine-containing e-cigarettes can age the vascular system, harming blood vessels. Regular cigarettes are also known to hurt the heart. And artificial intelligence may help detect breast cancer even before it forms. A study published in JAMA Network Open suggests that AI is able to help predict which women are likely to develop breast cancer 4 to 6 years before it's first detected. Researchers say AI algorithms could be a key tool to identify high-risk patients for extra screening and treatment. Those are some of today's top health stories. Sarah Blakely, WZMQ 19 News.
The city of Negaunee will hold a public input session to gain insights into what residents and businesses want for Negaunee's latest strategic plan. Our John Truitt spoke to the city manager and has this preview.
Tomorrow evening at the Upper Peninsula Brewing Company in Negaunee is your chance to voice your concerns, compliments, and insights into what City Manager Nate Heffron calls the new Negaunee.
We're hoping to get a little bit of input from folks on what they think about it. Maybe we're missing something, we get a little aha moment from someone, and we can potentially add those in there.
The new strategic plan is titled Forge Your Adventure, a long-term plan designed to enhance the quality of life for Negaunee residents, promote economic growth, and strengthen Negaunee's identity as an outdoor-centric community. The public session invites anyone interested in Negaunee's future to share their insights into the future of the city and identify key priorities such as infrastructure, outdoor recreation, tourism, and economic development. No matter who you are, you're welcome in Negaunee.
And we're just telling people you can forge your adventure in Negaunee, whether that's here, you come here to play, you come here to start a business, or you come here to live and have your forever home.
Melissa Kuhlman, owner of Midtown Bakery and Cafe, says Negaunee is going in the right direction.
We're getting a lot more younger families that are moving out on the West End, and I think that, you know, a lot of that new blood coming this way is welcoming the change. Negaunee was very dumpy when I moved here.
The meeting is open to the public and will be held in the lower level of the UP Brewing Company at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. In Negaunee, John Truitt, WZMQ 19 News.
Your first warning weather forecast is coming up next. Plus, the southeast continues to prepare as Hurricane Milton strengthens to a Category 5 storm. We'll have the latest. And new research shows that rivers around the world are drying up. What scientists say about what's happening globally coming up after this.
John's Auto has been voted the #1 dealer to buy pre-owned vehicle for longer than I've been alive. If you're looking for a vehicle, or if you're looking for someone to help with your current car, or if you need to get yours looking like new again, come see us at John's Auto Sales and Service, Marquette.
Buckles Party Store. It's where the party starts in Calumet, with an awesome beer selection featuring domestic, foreign, and craft brew beer, a great selection of wine, just about any kind of liquor you want, and a great range of tobacco products. Buckles Party Store in Calumet. It's where the party starts for everyone.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Some places talk about being local, but we actually are local. Our family started Superior Collision 18 years ago, and we're still the ones who own and operate it today. No big company name, no outside investors. We are all Marquette, and we're going to stay that way. We are part of this community, and we are proud of the work we do. You can choose to go to a corporate body shop, or you can stay local and go to Superior Collision, Marquette's local hometown body shop.
She's inquisitive.
What led to this young lady finding you in this compromising situation?
And firm.
The only thing that matters in this particular courtroom, sir, is how I see it.
Watch Equal Justice with Judge Ebony K. Williams.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
Is your parents' car sounding funny? Do you hear any clunks, rattles, squeaks, or leaks? Tell them to call John's Auto Service Department for fast, friendly, and affordable service. Come see us at John's Auto Sales and Service, Marquette.
Now, WZMQ TV19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Tom DeVecchio.
First full week of October, and it's going to be a cool one out there. Typical October weather, not only today, but for much of the week. Decent amount of sunshine, the grand scheme of things. Some of the lake effect clouds, and might squeeze a few drops here and there, but the warmer temperatures, they'll come. You'll start to feel it Thursday, and maybe we can even break 70 by the time we go to Friday. Kids going to school tomorrow, chilly. Temperatures near 40 when they go to school here in the Marquette area. Some 30s in some of the colder outlying regions for the kids. And then coming home in the afternoon from Marquette, sunny skies, cool conditions. And as you saw, temperatures probably not getting out of the 50s, but no chance of rain. But it will be, again, cool. Make sure you have the jacket on for the kids as they head on out the door. We have a powerful Category 4 hurricane here in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane Milton, 150-mile-an-hour winds. It won't make landfall in the Yucatan, but it's going to slam them with some rough weather out there. And then it sets its sights toward Florida. Looks like it'll hit Tampa sometime probably late Wednesday afternoon. That's the best guess right now. Probably it's a Cat 3. Lots of storm surge and just a rough go there. It will diminish, but still be a Cat 1. Daytona Beach, St. Augustine could be hit there, but Jacksonville and Fort Lauderdale, probably even Fort Myers, Tallahassee, they'll all have to watch this very dangerous hurricane. The second one to hit Florida in 2 weeks. For us, though, we may get a few isolated showers. Sometimes these lake effect bands occasionally pop up, particularly in the eastern, say, 1/4 of the Upper Peninsula. But most of tomorrow looks good. Into tomorrow night, the air stabilizes a little more, so we're not expecting any repeat performance of what we call surprise showers. Now, on Wednesday, another wave, little wave that's going to move through the flow, might set off a drop or two. Not enough to put on the 7-day, but something that just might occur on this chilly northwesterly wind. You can see through Tuesday, some gusts over 20 miles an hour, sustained winds of 10 to 15. So that is a chilly wind there. Temperatures will be mainly in the 40s, except some 30s from Iron Mountain toward Ironwood. And into tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny. Temperatures, a lot of 50s here. A few of you out toward Iron Mountain may get into the lower 60s. Rest of the 7-day, We'll keep the threat of maybe a drop or two on Wednesday. Temperatures only about 54. Nice warm up though, steady. Mid 60s on Thursday. We'll get to 70 by Friday, but watch for some showers and chilly weather for the weekend.
Thanks, Tom. And we have new information about a monster storm targeting Florida's Gulf Coast, the second in 2 weeks. Hurricane Milton exploded in strength today with winds topping 180 miles per hour. It's now expected to make landfall late Wednesday or early Thursday. Forecasters say if it stays on its current track, this will be the worst storm to hit the Tampa area in more than a century. Florida's governor declared an emergency for much of the state, warning residents, especially those vulnerable to its potential 15-foot surge of seawater, to evacuate as soon as possible. The roads already jammed. Both Tom Hansen and Christiane Benavides report.
As Milton menaces Florida, millions are under mandatory evacuation orders.
This is the storm of the century.
Now the west coast of Florida is bracing for another life-threatening storm just 11 days after Helene. It's expected to make landfall in Tampa, and nearly half the city is being told to get out.
I can't put my officers' lives in danger to come out for somebody that didn't evacuate in the peak of the storm surge. So take the heat and evacuate now.
With a state of emergency declared in 51 counties, residents are once again assembling their emergency kits and gathering supplies, waiting in long lines for sandbagging and even longer lines for gas. CBS News was at Tampa General Hospital, the only level 1 trauma center in the area, as this wall was installed before Hurricane Helene. That barrier protected the hospital from 4 feet of flooding, but Milton could bring up to 15 feet.
We have layers of protections that we're going through, but it's still a little bit nerve-wracking to prepare for something like this with the current projection.
I'm Christiane Benavides in North Reddington Beach, a barrier island community where debris from Hurricane Helene still lines the street. Here, they're going from cleaning up to bracing for impact.
Across Pinellas County, communities are getting ready. In this St. Petersburg neighborhood, more than 80% of homes were flooded by Helene's historic storm surge.
What does your neighborhood look like right now?
It looks like a war zone. I mean, it's really sad. People have lost everything. You can see their memories sitting on the side of the road, and it's decimated.
Officials are worried debris, loose pieces of wood and metal, could clog storm drains and turn into dangerous projectiles when Milton makes landfall. Here in North Reddington Beach, entire homes were engulfed by the ocean during Hurricane Helene. Now residents like John Davis are worried about what's next.
Well, I hope it's not going to directly hit here. That's my hope.
But if it does?
If it does, I think it's going to have devastating effects.
Throughout the afternoon, sirens were going off here, letting people know that they need to get out now. Right here, we are under a hurricane warning, a storm surge warning, and a mandatory evacuation order.
The world's rivers are drying up with flows falling to an all-time low last year. The United Nations Weather Agency says it's a huge red flag for the climate. Tina Krause has the story from London.
2023 was the most parched period for the world's rivers in more than 3 decades. The World Meteorological Organization says record heat caused prolonged droughts in some regions, leading to the driest spell in 33 years.
We had never such a large area around the world which was under such dry conditions.
The United Nations report shows large parts of northern, central, and South America suffered severe drought last year, with the Mississippi and Amazon River basins seeing record low water levels. The UN Weather Agency also says glaciers that feed rivers in many countries saw the most water loss in 5 decades, warning the ice melt threatens long-term water security for millions globally. Around 3.6 billion people don't have adequate access to water for at least 1 month a year, and that figure is expected to rise to 5 billion by 2050.
Water is becoming the most telling indicator of our climate's distress. And yet, as a global society, we are not taking bold action to protect this resource.
Climate experts say rising temperatures have contributed to the water cycle being more erratic through both intense floods and severe droughts. The UN is urging governments around the globe to collect and share more information about water to help protect the planet's most precious resource.
The UN Weather Agency says half of the world faced dry river flow conditions last year. Still to come on your 19 News at 11. Culinary students are getting a helping hand with Brew Feast taking place this afternoon. We'll show you how when we come back.
News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
I'm supported by generations of women before me who've spent centuries fighting for our rights. But Carl Bonac is supported by radical groups that would restore the 1931 abortion ban, rolling back the clock, criminalizing abortions, taking away our rights. Bonac says he has authority over his body, but he wants the government to control ours. I guess Carl thinks women aren't worthy of the basic rights he wants for himself. Guess what, Carl? You're not worthy of our vote.
Funerals can easily cost $9,000 or more, but government benefits pay only $255. If you're between 40 and 85, get your free Funeral Advantage Guide. Help keep your family financially protected with up to $20,000 cash immediately.
It's so easy. Just answer a few simple health questions.
Funeral Advantage is something we'll all need. There's no risk or obligation.
Call 800-845-5191.
New Tuesday, Stephen Colbert welcomes a special guest. Surprise, it's Kamala. Vice President Kamala Harris comes to The Late Show. New Tuesday.
On the next edition of Comics Unleashed, with your host, Byron Allen. As 5 of the most hilarious comics take it to the edge every night, and nothing is off limits.
That's what I learned in any relationship. Communication is the most important thing. Yeah. The more you can avoid it, the better you'll do. Just avoid it out the way.
Comics Unleashed.
Weekdays on WZMQ CBS.
Top investigators and police use the latest forensic science to uncover the truth and solve real cases. The devil is always in the details. Forensic Factor.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. Buying a car is a major purchase. Before beginning the car buying journey, it's important to understand how much it will cost beyond the sticker price. Danya Bacchus shows us which cars will save you money.
Kevin Ng uses his 2 vehicles for different reasons. The Toyota Tundra pickup truck for camping and the Toyota Prius to commute to work. Besides the size, he says there's a major difference between the two.
It's definitely cheaper to own the Prius. Setting aside just gas mileage, it's still cheaper to own the Prius by far.
A new study from AAA finds the average cost to own and operate a new vehicle is now almost $12,300 annually, an increase of $115 from 2023.
And the reason we're seeing this is due to finances. So there are very high interest rates for buying a car and also depreciation of vehicles.
Gianella Giglino is with AAA. She says the popularity of oversized vehicles loaded with high-tech features has led to an increase in new car prices and payments. EVs have the second highest ownership cost due to depreciation, purchase prices, and finance charges. Gas pickup trucks are number 1. The most affordable vehicles to own and operate are small sedans and hybrids. They have good gas mileage, low maintenance cost, and rank in the middle for depreciation, financing, and insurance.
The Prius is largely maintenance-free. The front brakes got changed once at 70,000 miles only because I got in a minor accident.
And hybrids are growing in popularity. 1 in 3 Americans told AAA it's likely or very likely they will buy a hybrid in the future.
Other car buying tips from AAA: create a monthly or annual budget and factor in ownership and operating costs. Also, obtain pre-approval from a financial institution before discussing finance rates with a car dealer. Chefs from around Marquette are teaming up with the ORDOC and the American Culinary Federation to support NMU students. WZMQ reporter Samuel McKnight gives us a taste of their delicious annual fundraiser.
On Monday night, the ORDOC hosted the 4th annual Brew Feast fundraiser to help NMU hospitality and culinary students further their careers.
They're able to participate in education, networking, and just a general better understanding of our local food culture without having to burden the expense that comes with it, since they're already paying for tuition and books and things like that.
Chefs from local restaurants also came to provide a selection of special dishes for the fundraiser, with each attending community member invited to try.
I know a couple of the stations tonight we're looking at like pork belly and waffles. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's the one station I know about because my mind just kind of stopped working after I heard pork belly and waffles.
Each dish was paired with an ORDOC craft beer.
Beer and food is one of those things that have been just paired together for as long as beer has been available. You know, you hear of wine pairings and beer pairings. They're growing ever more popular as they have been. The flavors of the beer and the flavors of the food interact with each other and rise each other up.
Money raised from the fundraiser goes towards helping students pay for a membership with the Upper Michigan chapter of the American Culinary Federation.
So the ACF Upper Michigan chapter has a fund, and that fund allows students in the Northern Michigan University culinary program, hospitality program, to join our organization free of charge.
Beyond financial help, the students say they learn a lot from the experience too.
Being a student, you don't really get a lot of, I guess you would say, like training in an actual restaurant. So in cases like this is nice because it helps with skills like serving and even like public speaking.
Samuel McKnight, WZMQ 19 News, Marquette.
The harvest season is underway for a Bark River winery, and the owner says it takes a village to get the grapes from the vine to the bottle. Northern Sun Winery harvests about 30 tons in grapes over a 6-week period. The grapes are crushed and destemmed before fermenting for a week. Then they're left in stainless steel tanks for 1 year. Dozens of local volunteers come to harvest grapes throughout the season, and many come week after week to make the enormous task a bit more manageable.
It's magical. I would say that it's just magical. It's something my wife and I have done all over the world, community development. It's really cool, the togetherness. I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have harvests like this. We look forward to it every year.
Northern Sun Winery had a very successful growing season, and the grapes harvested this fall will produce approximately 15,000 bottles of wine. Tom DeVecchio has a final look at weather for you after the break. We're back in 2 minutes.
Kamala Harris pushed the far-left Green New Deal. That means huge new taxes, increased utility bills, and banning gas cars.
That's why I am committed to passing a Green New Deal and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
Mama Kamala just don't give a frack.
Kamala's fracking ban would kill jobs and raise gas prices. Kamala doesn't give a frack about you. Only President Trump will bring back Trump's strong economy.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
My family's been in business for 70 plus years. We really needed to stress that this is not just a running store. Our running shoes are good for everybody.
It's about the people out in the community who are in the workforce. All those people really benefit from the proper footwear and structure that a running shoe can provide.
They might come in limping, almost like a miracle, walk out of here dancing. It's more than shoes. There's a caring that doesn't exist in a lot of businesses anymore.
Hi friends, Richard Karn here. Now I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Imagine for less than a cup of coffee a day, Choice Home Warranty can help protect you from expensive major system and appliance breakdowns that your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover.
Call Choice Home Warranty now and get access to a nationwide network of over 15,000 technicians and the latest appointment setting technology so you'll know when they're on their way.
So, do what this old DIYer did and call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more. Call for your free quote today. Call in the next 5 minutes and get your first month free. 800-418-1754. 800-418-1754.
Temperatures for tonight with patchy clouds around the area for the Upper Peninsula. Marquette about 45 for a low. Most of you will be in the 40s, some 30s though, as you can see some of the interior sections of the Upper Peninsula, particularly in the western half. Into tomorrow, we'll have sunshine and perhaps some lake effect clouds kicking in now and then, but quite chilly. Most of you not getting out of the 50s here, maybe lower 60s along some of the shores there of Lake Michigan and along the Wisconsin border. Into Wednesday, we're not going to put any raindrops on the 7-day, but don't be surprised if a few get squeezed out. With a high of only 54 degrees, that could cause some lake instability here. After that, a slow but steady rise in temps through Friday. We'll try to get to 70 on Friday, partly sunny, but back to chilly weather, very fall-like with a chance of showers for the upcoming weekend and perhaps into early next week. Kevin?
Thank you, Tom. Celebrating this Hispanic Heritage Month, we have a look at a sketch artist who went viral drawing strangers underground. Devon Rodriguez made his name sketching passengers on the New York City subway and sharing their reactions on social media. He now has more than 33 million followers on TikTok, enjoying the success of his talent after a tough upbringing. It's the quality of his detailed drawings and the delight on people's faces that seem to resonate.
I think people love like the wholesome quality of somebody feeling like they were so seen. So when you're watching the video of somebody receiving their portrait, you almost feel what they feel. I'm always trying to treat people the way I want to be treated.
Wow.
Rodriguez has even drawn Oprah and the president. He's expanded the experience by interviewing his subjects as well. That's all we have for you tonight, folks, but we'll see you back here tomorrow.
I'm Melissa Slotkin, and I want you to know why I'm running for the U.S. Senate. It's my mom, but it could have been anyone's mom. She had survived breast cancer when I was very young, and that pre-existing condition hung over all of us.